So the first thing I do every morning is check my messages to see if there's anything I need to reply to from the night before, and then go and print out first few orders of the day. I think I had 18 orders on this day. But I just do a few at a time to make it easier to get everything organised. I've got another video of how I do all my designs in Photoshop, so I'll link that to give you a better overview. I just did kind of a quick preview of it here. So I've done my first design of the day, dragged it into Silhouette Studio, and I'm going to send it to my machine. I'm still kind of getting used to Silhouette Studio, and actually I thought I would record this day in particular because it's the first day I've been using my Silhouette and my Cricut at the same time, so it's kind of getting used to that workflow. So here I'm just sending my first cut of the day to my machine. Still getting used to that roll feeder, but I think I've kind of figured it out. Sending that design. Making sure all the settings are right, and there it goes. Once that's done, I'll start cutting the design elements into sections to make it easier to weed. Please ignore the back of my hair here. I realise I really should have brushed it before I did this, but never mind. This is kind of my usual day working look. So yeah, just weed all of the excess vinyl and get my transfer tape and my nail varnish holder to get all of the excess bits and pieces. I started out using this at the beginning of the day, and then I usually give up by the end because it's a bit of a faff to put it on unless you're doing loads of weeding at the same time. So once they're all done, pop the transfer tape on and cut around everything. I tend to save any spare bits and stick them to my table. You can see them there. So always check that if I can use any of those first to kind of save waste, then I will do. So I'm just doing some designs on Photoshop here. Again, adding as many as I can onto one canvas to save vinyl and time. Just looking in my little spares drawer, anything I do over and over again, I'll usually have spares for in there. Kind of makes things a bit quicker as well. So I'm doing a design on my Cricut, having a little dance. So adding it to the mat and popping that in to cut. While everything's cutting, I usually have a coffee break. Any excuse for a coffee break. Don't come at me, I've never been a barista, but this is just how I like my coffee. Look at that. So now I've got caffeine in me, I can go even quicker. So I've done a gold design, I've sent another white one to my Cricut. Of course, have a little dance, keep me entertained. It's all about balance really, just trying to I like to try and do lots of weeding at the same time, and then I can do all the transfer at the same time. Kind of makes it quicker if you're doing one thing all at once, if that makes sense. Although I do need to take that white one out of my Cricut and cut and weed that as well there, but this is pretty much what I do most of the day. Just kind of do designs, send them to either one of my machines, cut them into sections, weed, add to transfer tape, make sure everything looks good quality and is correct, have a bit more coffee, and then kind of repeat. If you want to start your own vinyl business, then please do like this and subscribe, as I'll be doing lots more videos on how to achieve that and how I started my business. Once I've got lots done, then I'll pop loads of stuff into envelopes at the same time. So this is actually my new setup of my desk, and it's making it so much easier because I can lay out even more orders than I could before. It's just really helpful to be able to see what I've done and what needs doing. Before this, I didn't have as much room, and actually when I started I had even less room, and you can still do it with a lot less room, but if you can spread things out, it just makes it a little bit easier. Then lunchtime, beans on toast, because I was feeling a bit lazy that day. Then there was a rainbow outside the back garden, so I filmed that. After lunch, it was back to more designs. I'd never used the mat with my silhouette before, so I thought I would film that while I gave it a go. I had assumed it was just very similar to my Cricut, so I was like, I didn't even look up any tutorials, just kind of peeled the backing off, stuck my vinyl on there and popped it into my machine. Well, I hate this thing, it never clicks back very easily. I always feel like I'm going to break it when I do it. And so yeah, tried to line it up. It's really not as easy as a Cricut. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here, but I can't remember what I was doing here. Was I making sure a mat? Maybe I was making sure a mat was selected. So yeah, it took a little bit of moving around to get it in, but then finally fed it in. Yeah, you can tell I'm still not the biggest fan of my silhouette cameo, but it's not really fair because I've been using my Cricut for 3 years, so that's kind of got an unfair advantage. But while that was cutting, I took a glitter silver decal off. Always really hard to see the cuts on this stuff, so I have to really like point it at the window to make sure I'm cutting in the right place. The amount of times I've cut through designs with that vinyl's irritating. Just watching the machine as well, make sure it's doing the right thing. I haven't quite got the confidence to just leave that machine running on its own yet. So once that was done, gave it a check. We did it. And luckily this design, I can send it in 2 halves because I managed to snap the H. I don't know if that was me or the machine. I think it was me. I think I was trying to do it too quickly. But it's alright, so we can just do the other bit again. So back to more cutting, weeding, sorting orders out. Got all my envelopes in those boxes, makes it a lot easier when I'm packaging things up. When you're sorting out where you're going to be crafting and making things, it is always easier to put everything you need in the area you're going to be in when you're using it. I've got my vinyl all under my machine, my envelopes all under my packing station, and then all my tools are on my table where I do my weeding and cutting and stuff like that. And my bin is just right beside where I do my cutting as well. So I think that was my last order of the day. I'm just sorting my envelopes into domestic and international, which makes it a little bit easier for the post office. to sort out and do. So I send everything drop and go. I number everything first, and then I do a manifest on the post office website. If you can find something like this which makes your posting a lot quicker, so I just literally take these to the post office, drop them, and they send them. I don't have to stand there and wait. So I started the day at 9:30, finished at 3, which isn't too shabby. Then I decided to walk to the post office because it was quite a nice day in my with my fancy Tesco bag there. We always stop and have a breath here on the way to the post office because it's quite nice. After posting, we did a food shop, then had a nice autumnal walk home. And then once I'm back home, I mark everyone's order as sent on Etsy and then send them a message with the instructions. So it's just a pre-saved message, I don't have to write it out every time. They give you the option to do that in Etsy. And then I'll just shut everything down, make sure all my messages have been answered. Anything I need to do, shut everything down. Give my office a bit of a tidy, put everything away just so it's nice and neat for tomorrow. Put all my scraps in a little scrap drawer I've got, put vinyl away. I just find that tidy office makes me a lot less stressed the next day when I've got to start working again. And it doesn't look that tidy there, but it was. This is as tidy as it gets. Shut the door for the night. And then go downstairs for some Netflix.